I've been asked to offer some thoughts on what apocryphal texts might be used when seeking things like comfort, as I've listed here, comfort, guidance, hope, peace. I had to think about this a long time. There's a way in which you can argue that whole books or pieces of any of the books, virtually any of the books of the Apocrypha, can be used and applied to any of these. So I had to think hard. What I'm about to offer is purely subjective. It's based on my own thoughts about these four categories. I mean, comfort, guidance, hope, and peace are kind of broad. And I suspect we'd all give them different definitions or slightly different definitions. That's one thing. Secondly, it has to do with the way I read the texts and my own interpretation. And thirdly, these are my thoughts as I gathered all this for you. I can't guarantee that this is the way I'll be thinking next year or next month or even tomorrow. So with that in mind, first, comfort. Like the other catch-all themes that we're about to dive into, this is one of those things that comes in handy, or comes in particularly handy in times of uncomfort. Obviously today, what are we doing? We're within 2.5 months, right, of our second year of living or dying with this crazy virus. And that's worldwide. It's not a single country. In this country, wherever you stand, you must understand that the political spectrum is crazy. Our culture has gone crazy. So it's a time of, chaos on several fronts. Things were not exactly the same in the apocryphal period. They didn't have a pandemic the way we did. Our ancestors, of course, did go through pandemics, but not in this particular age. They did, however, have cultural chaos at home. We've talked about the difference between Hellenistic Jews and Jerusalem Jews, the upper classes, the lower classes. This is gathering steam at this period. By the time of the New Testament, a lot of that stuff has exploded. And you see bits of it in the Gospels themselves, with the rancor the writers of the Gospels have for some fellow Jews. And some of it is beneath the surface. Those of you who've studied the Gospels with me know the fracture of Judaism in the first century. So anyway, they had their own chaos to deal with. So comfort. The one that immediately came to mind for me was Wisdom of Solomon. Because it, like Sirach Ecclesiasticus, which is also part of the apocryphal works, are part of the larger biblical genre of wisdom literature, and wisdom literature in general, at least what we call conservative biblical wisdom, like the book of Proverbs, are all about calming things down. Sometimes when the prophets speak, when Jesus speaks, we in the pews, we may say, thanks be to God, or praise to you, Lord Christ, or however we respond to readings. But we may privately be thinking, if we've really listened to the readings, you got to be kidding. I can't possibly do that. I'm not good enough. Peter says to him at one point, how many times should we forgive? And then Peter, being, a disciple, thinks it's smart to say 7 times. Is that good enough? And Jesus comes back with no, 70 times 7. That's impossible. I mean, we think about that and think there's no way I could do that. What the books of wisdom do, and Wisdom of Solomon in particular for our purposes, is say, don't think of the huge thing you have to accomplish as a faithful person, as a godly person. Think instead in small steps. This is possible for you, for me, for all of us. We can live faithful, godly lives even in the midst of all this disaster, we can be comforted because it's one step at a time. And all in the wisdom of Solomon, it's put in the mouth of an individual. Solomon, yeah, he was a king, but he was human, subject to all the foibles, failings, hiccups of life that we're subject to. It's one little step at a time. So the book comes across as a kind of cheerleader. You can do it, or a Nike ad, just do it. And of course, even further with comfort, there's I think arguably the most famous passage in this particular book, which is in chapter 3. The souls of the righteous are in the hands of God. It's saying appearances are deceiving. Sometimes people who try to lead faithful, godly lives come across in the public sector as weak or namby-pamby or goody two-shoes or naive. But what the text is saying is, no, whatever else people may think of you, God sees clearly and tends to people who are just. Secondly, in a time when, now we're back in biblical times for a moment, when most of the Jewish population, for instance, and early Christians until later in the Christian era, didn't understand the whole concept of heaven very well, or an afterlife. So in a period when the basic understanding was after death, that was it. I mean, death meant you cut ties, or ties were cut for you, not only with your loved ones, but with God. And what this is saying is, no, God doesn't abandon us when we die. We're still cared for, loved. And finally, comfort isn't offered only to the righteous who were persecuted or maligned, as in 2 Maccabees, for instance, but comfort is offered to those of us in a death situation who are left behind, the mourners. There's comfort for everybody.